Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those within the community, as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Welcome to Insights. I'm Sherry Stewart. Today we're taking a look at online instruction. As students across Northeast Michigan are preparing to return to the classroom, online instruction is one of the options. Well, today we'll take an in-depth look at this option and how parents, students, and educators can get the best out of this academic year. Joining me to talk about today's topic is Brian Klochak. He is Superintendent of Michigan Connections Academy. So Brian, I want to thank you for spending some time with us today. Obviously, you're passionate about education. I see here that you have more than 20 years of teaching and administration experience, but just tell us a little bit more about your background in the education sector.
Sure. So thanks for this opportunity to talk about our school. I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. I've been the lead administrator superintendent at Michigan Connections. This will be our 11th year. And I'm really proud of the fact of what we've been able to accomplish in that time as being one of the first fully online virtual programs in the state of Michigan. I have a wonderful staff of just under 90 people that are committed to helping kids in this online virtual model, and we know it can be very successful. Prior to my time at Michigan Connections, I was a building principal as well as an assistant principal and taught in both the high school setting and a K-8 setting as well. So I'm really proud of the body of work that I've been able to put together over the years. And because of that body of work, I really feel that we've been able to have the successes that we have had at MICA because of my experiences and the people that we've brought on. The people that we have in place at Michigan Connections are truly wonderful people first, and just dynamite educators as well. So I'm really proud to enter our 11th year here, offering a full-time virtual model to over 1,700 kids who are currently enrolled for this upcoming school year.
So lots of experience there. So let's, for a minute, Brian, let's just peel back the layers on online education. And that is the proper term for it, is online education, or do you consider it a hybrid mix or specifically online?
No, and we're 100% online. Our students have access to their courses and their curriculum 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Our teaching staff is available, so to speak, every day from 8 to 4, but just like with regular teachers are always on 24/7 as well. So that is our working model, but certainly our students have the flexibility with our model to do learning when and where it works for them the best.
So let's just talk a little bit about that. So the fully online education, and obviously parents as well as students and educators, this is new for a lot of people, haven't really had to be in this silo. So how is it that you make it work? So for students that are certainly used to that face-to-face interaction, how is it that you're making it work for your population of students and the parents?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And, in the way that our model is structured, relationships really provide us with the successes that we have with our students and with our families. We have hundreds of communications with our families and our students over the course of a school year. We have dedicated times every other week in which we speak with our families to keep them up to date on what's occurring. Just to have general conversations about maybe what's happening in their lives or their child's lives that could be impacting their learning, to really just build upon a relationship that over time leads to really great student success. So I know some people probably are saying, well, how can you have relationships if you're not face-to-face? But what I can tell you is because we have those structured calls, half hour, at least every other week, and there's certainly communication in between, we're really able to build a solid base and foundation And that, if you were to speak to one of our teachers that had been in the business for a while, they will tell you that they have, more rich conversations and understanding of their students and their families than they ever had previously. And that's just because of how our model is designed and how it's set up.
And we'll talk a little bit more about your model in a bit. Want to really dig into that. So to clarify, is it K through 12?
Yes,
that
it's
you're educating
through 12th grade, yep.
Okay, so how do you educate the little ones online? Because those are specifically, I think we have a lot of concern that our younger students, of course, they're used to that physical interaction. And so how do you best educate them online? It seems like it will be very difficult.
Sure, and certainly we would never, and no one should ever expect a kindergartner to be in front of a computer screen for the entire day, right? So one of the great pieces of our program is that parents come to us because they want to have a more active role. And so we rely on our parents to be more of a learning coach to help kids stay focused and directed while at home. And then we work with our teachers. We have an orientation program that teachers go through. And again, we have the bi-weekly calls as well to help them structure a day and what works best for them, to do a little bit of work and then step away from the computer and do some work offline, so to speak, to get up and keep your body fresh and moving. So there's lots of communication that occurs to help with the families, to help with the younger ones in this model.
Mm-hmm. Now, and before we head to break, a quick question though: what is some of the feedback from parents that choose to send their smaller children to an online learning model? That's very interesting to me. It seems like you would want your kids' first interaction with academics to be in a face-to-face setting. So, what is the makeup of a family that will want to pursue online learning for their smaller children?
Sure. And everybody's reason to come to our program is different. Mm-hmm. And so to give you a specific one to pinpoint, I really can't pinpoint a specific one. They just feel that parents know their kids the best. Mm-hmm. And when they choose to come to us, they feel that our model is going to help them be successful. And so we're really fortunate to work with those parents, in our model. And again, it's all about the communication piece. Just because, kids come to our program doesn't mean they're not getting their face-to-face interaction with their friends. Most kids live in neighborhoods. They have friends in and around their house. Many kids are involved in other different activities. And so they are able to get their socialization piece in lots of other ways than just attending school in a classroom setting.
Well, Brian, we're going to take a quick break. We will come back in just a moment to talk more about the type of program, the academics that you actually offer with this online school.
Insights will return after these messages.
Welcome back to Insights. We're continuing our conversation with Brian Klochak. He is the superintendent of Michigan Connections Academy, and it is a fully online education program here in the state of Michigan, of course. So, Brian, before the break, we were talking about digging deeper into what your curriculum looks like. So explain that to us. You go from K through 12. So what does the curriculum actually consist of? What are students actually getting?
Yeah, sure. So yes, we are a kindergarten through 12th grade program, and we're responsible to provide the same education and curriculum as every school district in the state of Michigan. So we have to meet those same expectations. Our students at the high school end earn a diploma, and so anything that, from a curriculum standpoint, that you would expect to have in your traditional brick and mortar setting, we have to provide that as well. So the students have the ability to access their courses, like I mentioned previously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and be able to design what their schooling looks like that's best going to meet the needs of them or their family.
So then when you say those requirements, so I know public schools, we have certain testings that have to be, the students here in this online program, they're being instructed so that they are ready to take those tests and take them successfully.
Yes, most definitely. And we do some additional in-house assessments as well. But when the state testing season comes in the spring, we have over 40 sites that we man throughout the entire state in which our students come to those locations to take those assessments. So, we feel really good about what we're able to offer. Our teachers work really hard at working with all of our kids, and we've been able to find some great success over time.
Let's talk a little bit about your educators. So do they also, because obviously it is an online education school, online school, I should say, what type of academic requirements do they have? Do they have to meet the same standards as teachers that come from a traditional face-to-face setting?
Oh, absolutely. In order to be a teacher in the state of Michigan, you have to meet certain credentials. You have to have certain credentials and meet certain standards. And it's certainly our teachers are 100% certified by the state of Michigan. We have a range of teachers from right out of college to over 20, 25 years of experience in education. So we're really proud of the staff that we have in place. They do just tremendous things to help our students find success. Like I mentioned, the relationship piece that we're able to build with our students and our families really allows our staff to have a greater understanding of the makeup of our kids, and really able to help students in ways just beyond the classroom as well. So we have a full counseling department. I know that there's talk right now about social emotional learning. And so in addition to our counselors, we have social workers on staff as well, a full special education department, a speech and language pathologist. So we have a tremendous staff on hand at Michigan Connections to help our kids find success. And success looks different for every kid. And we know that. And, we work really hard to help them get to the point where they want to get to, and then a little bit more.
You talk about the online classes, of course. I've read, or actually I've heard, that the shortened class time works best. Do you find that, or are the class times a little bit different than, say, if you were in a traditional face-to-face setting?
Yeah, so the kids, like I said, they have access to the club courses 24/7. I think what really the beauty is of our program, if you're a student who has a strength in one area, you're going to be able to perform a little bit easier in that area. And that allows you to work a little bit extra in another course or another discipline that you may struggle with, and really work with your teacher and the other support systems we have in place to get that extra support you need. So, kids are able to move at their own pace, and certainly able to spend the appropriate amount of time to get lessons done, but also to get that extra work and extra time in areas that they need that. So I think that's a real beauty to our program.
So are any of the classes, is it live instruction or is it on demand?
So every interaction, every live instructional piece is recorded.
Okay.
So students and parents have the ability to watch the synchronous instruction as many times as they can. So if there was a time frame where the synchronous instruction was going on for that course and a student was unable for whatever reason not to attend, they can go and watch that recording and that instruction as many times as they would need to. And of course, follow up with asking questions or reaching out to classmates.
Well, I have one other question before we head to break, and I have to ask this. There's always been a dialogue about class size. So do you still have that challenge? We know obviously that many districts have had challenges over the years where class sizes were just enormous, and it's difficult for educators to really to provide the best in oversized classes. I'm guessing that you don't have that challenge with an online educational model.
Yes, certainly. That I think is the big difference, because the whole classroom management piece doesn't come into play, right? Because you're never going to have your X amount of kids that you have in a contained space ever in our environment. So that's one of the really benefits, is that we're able to offer courses, say at the high school level, that may only have 5 or 6 kids in that course, where in a traditional setting you wouldn't be able to. And we're able to have a higher number of kids in a particular course as well. So that has never really been an issue, fortunately for us in our model in this programming.
Well, when we come back, Brian, I would like to pick your brain and your thoughts. You have over 20 years of experience, as we said earlier, but your thoughts on the future of education as we obviously maneuver this pandemic. But what are your thoughts on what education might really look like as we head months down the road? And so we'll pick up that question right after the break.
Insights will return after these messages.
Well, welcome back to Insights. We are continuing our conversation today with Brian Klochak. He is the superintendent of Michigan Connections Academy. And Brian, we're just having a really good informational conversation with you today about online education for students. And as you were saying to me during the break, that it's not for everyone, but for those parents that actually make the decision, you're finding that it is working.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know this is a tough time for many families across the state and the country with what's happening. But what we've been able to find over the years, as I said, we're going into our 11th year, parents choose to come to us for a reason. And what we've been able to find is that, students, sometimes they didn't have success in the traditional setting, but when they came to us, they blossomed. And have been really fortunate to hear these stories year over year from our parents about how excited and thankful they are for this opportunity, because it's allowed their student to grow leaps and bounds from where they were. So we know that different kids excel in different environments, and this is one that people are going to have to try to acclimate to. It's not going to be forever. But certainly it's what we know now. And there are things that parents can do to help themselves and their kids find success.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the school. Is there a tuition to attend the school?
No, we are a public school, and so there is no tuition. We provide a computer, we provide an internet stipend, we provide the learning materials, and that's it. So there is no cost to attend.
Mm-hmm. Now, when will your classes resume for this upcoming semester?
Again, our staff comes back on the 24th. We make it a point to call every family prior to the first day of school, so that we can have a conversation and start to build that conversation and that relationship with our families prior to the first day of school, so that when day one hits, we're off and running, teaching right from the get-go.
In your estimation and your expertise, Brian, with over 20 years of experience, and that's a lot of time to be in and out of the classroom and administrative, what are your thoughts on the future of education? Do you think that this may be the model going forward? So, for example, we know with colleges, I'm used to taking online courses, but again, like I said earlier, for the younger students, I would imagine it's a challenge. So what are your thoughts on what a good educational model might look like going forward?
Yeah, so I think what you'll see is you'll have districts like ours, but what I think that you'll see is the traditional districts implement online learning to some degree. I think potentially snow days might be a thing of the past.
No, that's a good point. Now that's a very good point. You're right. Yeah.
So those may be a thing of the past. Certainly, there's obstacles that would like loss of power and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think that this will help kids. As you mentioned, you've taken courses in college that are online. Most colleges, there's a lot of colleges and universities doing courses online right now. And so I think that as kids become more trained in doing that, the more success they'll find. So I wouldn't say it's the future because it's in the present, and it's been happening for 10 plus years in the state of Michigan full time. So I think it's just going to continue to grow and develop and be integrated into our everyday educational experience.
How do you also integrate those traditional things that we do look forward to once we accomplish something such as getting our degree, getting our diploma? Do you hold any type of face-to-face graduation ceremony? I know obviously with the pandemic you probably have had to adjust things, but how do you acknowledge students for their accomplishments in this area?
Sure. So we have face-to-face field trips throughout the course of the year as well.
Okay.
We always had a back-to-school one that would draw upwards of 800 to 1,000 people every year at our initial one. But from our culminating activity, we hold our graduation at the Wharton Center on the campus of Michigan State University, and we have kids come down from the UP. We cover them from as far as in the southeast corner of Monroe, from down in Benton Harbor in the southwest, and all around. So it's open to everybody who wants to come and choose and be a part of it. And so we get close to 70% of the graduates that come in and partake in our in-person live graduation ceremony.
And that's wonderful. Find a way to integrate those traditional things that just really make school a wonderful experience for parents as well as for the students and the educators, of course. So, Brian, we are almost out of time, so I wanted to give you the last minute or so. If you have anything else that you would like to leave us with as we're all preparing to get kids back into the classroom, whether it's online or a combination of both settings.
So thanks. So again, thank you for this opportunity. I know that across the state, there's many challenges that all of us are facing. And to all the parents out there, we appreciate everything that you do in working with your kids. If you're going to start the year back at home, which many of us are, find a spot in your house where kids can go and do school. That's where they're going to do school. Help them set up a routine, help them set up a schedule. Stay engaged with their teachers and your school districts. Just do anything you can to help the students find success, and try not to put your frustration with what's going on with your kid. Allow them to excel and love school, because schooling and lifelong learning is for everybody, and we need to make sure that we keep those positive thoughts moving forward. If anybody else would like information on my school or our school, please go to MichiganConnectionsAcademy.com with lots of information, and always reach out to the school if you'd like information as well.
Wow. Well, we'll leave it at that. That's great advice. Thank you so much, Brian. We've really enjoyed our time with you today. We wish you a wonderful, successful school year, parents, teachers, and your educators.
Thank you so much. You have a great day as well.
All right. Thank you. Well, that does it for this week's Insights. If you have a question, comment, or story idea, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at news@wbkb11.com. I'm Sherry Stewart. Have a great week.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.